What up, Challenge fans? We are Final Alliance Podcast. We just watched episode 4, Messy, and boy, was it that.
Messy is the title, or could it have been for messiness? Can't we take foreshadowing and messy and all the other things and put it there? Because if you go back to our last episode, we talked a lot about where's production at.
It's not good, yeah.
And then this one, our last podcast, and
our last podcast was good.
And this, what's production doing? And then this one, there was a lot of foreshadowing. Mm-hmm. And even for next episode, and then you have Fessy, so you've got the F from Fessy, and we've got the messy for messiness. That's
for
where
messiness.
I'm at.
Yes,
it's a huge episode with for messiness.
Or should it have been called snakes?
Well,
the amount of snakes that were mentioned this episode by multiple people. Mm-hmm. I think probably 5 people talked about people being snakes. Most of them talked about Kyle being a snake, but there were other people talking about snakes. So could it have been?
No,
I don't know.
I hate the snakes. It's too easy to throw out. It's like you're a snake. No, you're a snake. It's too easy to do. Like, no, you're a snake. No, you are. And this was all about it, even from the beginning. Foreshadowing, and then there was messiness.
Oh my God, it was so much.
And it's leading into next episode. So good job, production. We called you out last week.
Yes.
You did a good job here, and we know what's happening next week. Good job. 2 thumbs up.
Nailed it. After that slump that was episode 3, we do have this. We do have this mountaintop that was pretty darn good.
Absolutely. But we thought 4 was going to be the craziness. This is a 2-parter. This could have been like, this could be Messy Part 1 if they wanted to title it that, and Messy Part 2 because it's happening.
Yes, yeah. I'm so excited.
So let's break this down.
Okay, so I just want to let you know, I take my notes.
Sure.
I like my notepad. I like taking notes during the show. This is the most pages of notes I've taken so far. I think I have 4.5 pages of notes because just so much happened. Whereas last week, I had like 2 pages. This week, so much happened. So it starts out, it's as I call it again, it's a fun day off. Mm-hmm. So, we've got Coriel talking, and I don't even know who he was talking to because there were so many conversations that happened, but he was saying, I need a daily win. Okay?
Yeah.
That's very obvious foreshadowing that. Well, no, it wasn't, but we were hoping it was foreshadowing because I was rooting for him to maybe have a daily win.
It's still foreshadowing, yeah.
Then we have Big T and Logan talking. She's got a crush on him. She's all like, I'm not subtle. Mm-hmm. Then they have this weird conversation, and he says, like, come on over on another occasion. I really don't know what that meant. We actually watched together tonight. Finally, our schedules kind of mingled where we were able to watch together, and we both looked over at each other and we were like, what?
Oh yeah
like what? So I really don't know. I guess Logan and Big T like each other maybe.
Well, sorry to interrupt you, but the crazy thing about this is there's actually the most in the beginning of the show, the most that you will see of all the challengers going on right now are in the first 5 minutes because it will dwindle down to maybe about a final 8. It's like the producers knew that we were going to try to figure out who wins the episode, what would Bananas do, who wore it best, or whose stock is rising. It's like we're going to give you 12 to 14 people, and then we're just going to do whatever else.
But were you not so excited to finally be like, oh my God, we're seeing a bunch of people in a short period of time?
Yeah, Priscilla, I loved seeing you in the first 5 minutes. You'll never be seen again.
We saw her again at the end.
Oh, at the end? Okay.
We'll get there.
Okay.
So then we have Fessy and Josh having a talk. Fessy's super worried about Amber.
Mm-hmm. He is.
It's so annoying, right?
Well, that's the thing. Like, give that guy screen time. Maybe it is like because he's a heel and people don't like him. And I'm completely transparent. I don't like him. But it's Fessy. It's only about Fessy, period. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing about and Josh like, no, trust and this alliance, the Big Brother alliance. And I think we'll get to like when Amber talks about it later, but the whole alliance saying like, pick it apart here and there, when it works, when it doesn't, it's there, but it doesn't. It's just, I don't want to go too far. I don't want to do the foreshadowing of what's going to happen, but I know like, guys, you're better than this.
It's already tired.
Yeah.
Like, it's already tired.
That is a great,
Like,
great line. It is tired.
stop,
Yeah.
like, we get it. Like, you don't trust Amber, whatever. Like, can we, like, move on from this? Like, I don't feel like it's that as big of a deal. Well, no, we find out later it is. But as that conversation is happening, it's just kind of like, just get over it already.
I think what you just said was very important. Tired. Snakes is tired. Alliance is tired. Veterans is tired. Rookies calling out like, hey, this is kind of weird about that, the veterans are going to call us out, is tired. And as we go down the list and we talk about the show, have you not watched the show? Have you not been a part of this show? Have you not, like, production in this situation, that's tired because we understand that as challenge fans. First-time watchers of this that are now getting on because of Survivor UK, Survivor, whatever else, Big Brother. You don't get it, but okay. Some of that
But as
does
a
get
challenge
tired.
fan, yeah, it's like, come on, let's move on. So then we see this cute little workout section with Huey and CT. He's like trying to get him on like a stability ball or whatever, and it's just like not working. But CT says it. He's like, you know, he's underrated. Like, this guy is actually a pretty good athlete. And Huey says, he's like, I'm not here to be Ashley's lapdog. I'm a big dog.
Yep.
Which I thought that was really cute and it was good. Then we have our first of many conversations between Devin and Kyle.
Yes.
There've got to be at least 3 or 4 conversations between those two in
Yes.
this episode.
And I may have missed this maybe through social media that they were as tight as they were. I mean, Devin, he does his rounds with everything else, and we know that him and Josh are together in certain ways, but the idea that him and Kyle are so close, I think this is oversold. I don't know where it really comes from. They just...
Right. Yeah, it wasn't... not to my recollection has it been in past seasons that the two of them are super close.
Yeah.
But they do say, you know, for, you know, this season, they are Dial.
Yes.
Which is Devin and Kyle. And then they do this weird, like, you know, what is the two faces?
They morph
together?
the two faces. Now, would you have just lost it if out of nowhere he smiled and Kyle's teeth just came in? Because that's all I thought about. Like, because it just was this.
It was a good looking dude.
It was a pose, but if it would have been a smile. And
The
the teeth, that's when I
smile.
would have been like, oh, I can't handle it with the teeth. But
Well, what if it like started out as Kyle's smile and then switched into Devin's? Where you like,
yeah, that it would have been a little free. But not a bad looking dude. You're right.
yeah.
Dial's okay.
Dial's okay. Also, I got to give you the tea because, you know, I always got to give you the tea. Kyle had his gender reveal this weekend
Oh, okay.
for his child that's getting ready to be born. Posted this really cute video of, you know, all the family and stuff, you know, people predicting this and whatever. So it's a boy.
Oh, okay. Good. I think that's important because during their conversation, when Devin's actually kind of throwing
Exactly.
Corey under the bus and saying, you know, it's all about the family, it's all about the family. And Kyle goes, hey, you know, I got a kid on the way. He's like, yeah, exactly. But once you have that kid, then we're not going to be friends anymore.
Right,
You know,
because
so,
he's like that's the reason I'm not like
And he goes-
in cahoots with
But
Corey.
then Kyle goes, so you're not going to be a godfather? And he says, that's a hard no. Good answer by Devin. That's what two friends can do.
It was
you know?
so cute.
Yeah.
It was so cute. Then we have Amber and Casey squashing their beef. You know,
Okay. Pause. Did they?
no,
This
absolutely
makes
not.
zero sense to
Absolutely
me that Amber
not.
comes in and she's like, okay, Casey, Josh, Fessy. I know I'm on the lowest on the totem pole. Amber.
Did she say that?
Well, I'm paraphrasing, but she's like, you guys are together, and I feel like Fessy and I have a problem because last season, but you guys are together, and Casey's like, no. And Diary, Casey's like, yeah.
Yeah, she's the lowest on the totem pole.
Amber wasn't on their season. So there's no reason Amber should think she's any higher.
Josh wasn't on their season either. So why is Josh in there?
But they're like 3 years apart, at least. I mean, they at least have those reunions where else Amber's like deep enough that
Right.
they're not even, I don't even think like social media wise was as strong by like hashtagging when Amber was on there. She wasn't even
I liked that season Amber was on.
But she wasn't even more of a, I don't even know if she might have made it to jury.
I think she was on jury.
But why does she think she's in there to be that close?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't just go in and be like, I'm on this alliance. Like, people tell you're on the alliance, right? So someone had to have told her that time, last season, that she was part of this Big Brother alliance. So I think that's where her frustration lies. Yes, it's so obvious to the viewer that she's low man on the totem pole, but her going back and reviewing it, seeing them say things about how she was like carried along, blah, blah,
They're
blah.
going to say that because she was rookie. And also, those guys, this is their third challenge. This is their second. She won as a rookie. So they've also played it together.
But most of them, it was only their second and it was her first. So like it was only Fessy's second. It was only Josh's.
And Casey's second, too.
Oh, Casey's
But they've been
second.
through the game. Like, that's the thing. Like, she's asking to be part. She's begging for no reason to be part of this alliance. And Casey's like, yeah, you're there. And Casey's like, she's not there. I appreciate that out of Casey, though.
And Casey said something along the lines of, Fessy didn't communicate well last season. He's working on his communication. And Amber's like, yeah, I think he's genuine. And I literally scoffed.
Okay.
I mean, you heard me.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
So please go and follow the @Final Alliance on Twitter. I did live Twitter, and I live tweet, and I tagged @Final Alliance. I tagged you, hashtag the Challenge 37, and I wrote, he's got personal growth and worked on his communication. Where? You scoffed. I thought the same thing, but I was too busy grabbing my phone on Twitter. What is the personal growth that he has had from BB till now? Like, how can you say these things? I guess I know I'm going to come off as like so much anti-Fessy, but dear Lord, like, he seems like he's getting better or he's worked on it. No way.
I mean, I concur. We have same feelings about Fessy. He, at this point, seems to have had a little bit more restraint than he had last season. Maybe
All right. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
I'll give you that.
Our opinion of he's really gotten better versus Casey's opinion is few and far between. So then we get into the challenge, and this challenge is, I found it confusing when TJ explained it, but once it happened, it was a little bit easier to understand. So it's called undercover comms. So you have one partner on a rig that's 30 foot high, and they're on it upside down.
Yeah.
They have codes on it, and they're like dashes and dots. Then you got to transmit those codes via a walkie to your partner. Then your partner has to run and find that code on a rock. And then what happens? Then they
come back to the lockbox. They unlock it. They have a detonator, and they put it on somebody's. Yeah.
And then at that point, then they can sabotage another team. So they have 3 times that they do this, and each time they go, then they can sabotage another team. So they can put it on any other team. Before it starts, my friend Huey is not thrilled again by heights, and he's crying. And then we have like the really bad, like in the face, like GoPro camera, like right under him. Oh, so bad. But what I found with Huey is he's gonna cry about it, but he's gonna do it, and I was very proud of him.
Okay.
So they start. And I feel like by you're okay, you have something to say.
I just don't get this. I don't get how you go into a challenge or whatever thing and you go and you think like you're screaming at the top of your lungs like I'm going to die. But the entire time you realize that the PA or the production people all did this challenge before you even did it because they have to make sure it's safe. But you're this tough guy who, like, you don't realize how strong I am. You're going to be like, I'm going to die. I can't do this. My anxiety. But the entire time, these people, it's not like they hire stuntmen to do these things ahead of time and be like, well, it worked for them. The same people that are filming you, that are setting up the lights, that are doing everything else, did these things ahead of time.
Right.
So,
which we found out as fans of the show, in past seasons when, like, Cara lost her mind about that one over the water where she had to climb, and she's like, I'm too short. And TJ yelled at her, and he's like, someone shorter than you did this before you guys.
They make sure that you're not going to die. Like, That's the
It
only
doesn't
thing.
mean that you can't like still be afraid of heights.
Oh, I'm sure, but don't you go through that?
I get you. I mean,
I guess
like,
that's part of also production. With interviews, you're like, "Are you afraid of heights?" Yes, check off the box. That would be great. Can't wait for episode 4. So I
sign him up.
Yeah.
Afraid of heights?
This is
Do
gonna
you
be
hate
great.
water?
Yeah. By the
are
way,
you
we're
at
not
running?
telling their partner, so 'cause that'll be a problem later.
And then, so challenge starts, and they have 2 heats. So half of them are going to go in heat 1, half of them are going to go in heat 2. Berna does say right away that she doesn't use dashes and dots. She says things a different way, and that might be a language thing.
Lines and something. Yeah.
Right. So she's, communicating to CT, and she's like messing it up because she's like, I'm not used to saying dashes and dots.
I still think they did okay. I mean, when CT gets it, he just takes off.
Oh, for sure.
He's so
Oh,
good.
for
Like
sure.
a bottle rocket.
Corey and Bettina, like I just wrote LOL next to it because I think they had like a cute moment where like they in their interview then they were trying to explain it, and she's like, I'm saying dot 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 dash dash dash, and he's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Can barely. Yeah.
She was saying it too fast or something. Then Josh is the first person to, I don't know, put somebody in, and he puts down Jeremiah and Big T.
Yeah. That was
It's
interesting.
an interesting choice.
Because he could have got
Michelle and Corey.
Yeah. And he said he was the first one, and we'll get to it, but he's the first one that said, I'm here to win. And it wasn't the Alliance, the Veterans Alliance plan. It originally was like to get a rookie out, rookie and
Right.
rookie, R&R is what's been said. And Devin said that. And he said, I'm just here to win, and that's what the best choice for him. So he makes he fires the first shots across the bow.
Right. Well, and Michelle and Coriel before the challenge, they're like, look, like, we need to win. We see the writing on the wall. Like, enough is enough. These vets need to get into an elimination, Then we have Ashley getting Nelly. That was hilarious.
Yes. And again, there's your foreshadowing also. Nelly gets up there. He's like, Ashley, I love you. Sorry about that. She's like, I'm
gonna get you
Yeah,
first.
F you,
And she
whatever.
so did.
Yeah.
And it was great.
It
I
was
loved
good.
it.
That was actually a good moment.
I loved it.
And on the Twitter that I put at Final Alliance 1, I wrote, Nelly got what he deserved. So
As he did.
Yeah.
I love that you feel that way. You don't even like Ashley.
I do not like Ashley.
Aw.
But he got what he deserved. Yeah.
Oh, that makes me feel so happy. So Amber and Josh end up winning the first heat.
Yes.
Which I'm okay with.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have the second heat that is pretty veteran
Heavy.
heavy.
Yeah.
And Devin goes through this plan. He's like, okay, so if someone is in the lead, we're just going to let them be in the lead and kind of slow ourselves down so that they could win and maybe win overall, right? Something like
So
that.
the plan is whoever is the first to unlock the detonator, take who's ever the slowest up above. I was confused too, by the way. Mm-hmm. So if you look at editing, Devin.
What's your favorite thing to talk about?
Devin wasn't the first one to get the detonator.
No.
It was Fessy and Esther. So if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But
Yes, it was.
Yes,
You're right, it
but-
was.
So they must have caught up, but they don't show that. All right? So the idea is take out who's ever the slowest, and you have to eyeball it is, but do not take out who's in the lead.
Right.
So and then
So
you
that
get,
they can win for overall, so they can beat the time of the first heat.
Yeah.
So then, so you're right. Fester, I keep saying Fester.
I'm okay
because
with
it's
Fester.
Fessy and Esther.
I'm actually great with Fester. I'm so happy, and I'm so mad that I never came up with Fester before. So that
So
is
Uncle Fester.
that's definitely sticking in my world. So
they take out Tori.
yeah.
And the next is Kyle. And this is where it all gets crazy. Because then Kyle is like, so here's the plan, but I don't know that I really understand the plan, and I'm following the plan. And then when it gets time for him to put somebody down, he picks Devin and Emmy.
Mm-hmm.
And that did not go over well.
No, but this is the thing that you have to understand. When we did episode 0, Kyle's great at the confessionals, the one-on-ones. But Kyle also doesn't want to be seen like a huge villain. And in this situation, Kyle is lying to the viewers. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. But as it builds up, and then he finally does it, he's like, or do I just want to win? He
Right,
does say,
he
he's
does
like, there
say
was
that.
a plan.
He
There was a
does.
plan, but I wasn't listening to the
like,
plan.
I wanna win.
And you're like, oh, Kyle doesn't listen to the plan. Oh, look at
And
him.
it's cute.
Oh, it's Kyle. And then he's like, do I not know the plan, or do I just want to win? And you're like, oh. So he's playing the viewer's side, and he's not going to look his best, but yeah, he puts out Devin.
And then Emmy, who is Devin's partner, right away calls him a snake. It's our first snake reference of the night. Then we go into, the challenge is still happening, but then we have a bunch of interviews, and you got Nelly like hissing. He's like, Kyle's a snake.
Sure.
Then got Corey interview. He's like, you can't trust him. He's a snake. I feel like we should have a poll at this point. Is Kyle a snake?
Well, Kyle's always been a snake,
think
but
he's
the
a
thing
snake?
is, I don't really like the idea, and they will talk later. They'll talk later after the whole thing, and they will talk more about Kyle. Corey will, Nelson will, and Josh will.
Oh, yeah, they have like a little, like,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, okay. Because what you can do in confessional, but what you're really saying in the game, it's not making sense. So, and I'll get to that. Yeah, sorry.
So Fessy and Esther win the heat. Then there's this argument between Kyle and Devin. Devin's like, dude, that wasn't the plan. Kyle says something along the lines of like, the rookies are really enjoying this because, they're seeing this argument between two veterans. It's this big old thing.
So, again, this is where one of our categories is going to come up. They go to the bar party. Looks good, but we just see some hookups. All right. We both mentioned at the time, think of music, I Want You Back. Is it going to be Nelson and Ashley, or is it going to be Kyle and Devin? Nothing really happened at the
Well,
party
we're not
except
we're,
for
we're not there yet.
Okay.
So Fessy and Esther win.
Okay. I apologize.
Then we go to the bar party,
right.
and the both of us were so excited when the bar. Well, I feel like you were excited. Bar party starts, and they play Instinct's "I Want You Back," and I was like, "Yeah, we're so excited!" And you pointed at me, and you're like, "This
Listen to
means
music.
something." So you were saying that it meant
I thought it would be Nelson
with Ashley.
with Ashley, or the bromance between Devin
bromance.
and Kyle.
For sure.
That's not really the case. What really was, it was just a song for them to dance to.
I know.
The biggest thing
It was
out
a
of it
great
was
song.
a
Great
conversation
song.
with Corey and Fessy. That was the biggest thing out of all of it.
So so this bar party was actually pretty productive. So you got Corey and Fessy talking. Corey says like he realizes he's gonna go in, and he says he wants Huey and Bettina. So then Devin and Josh talk, and Josh says, we're in the best spot in this game. Devin's like super excited that like Josh is like understanding the game plan. Fessy and Esther talk, and they're trying to figure out who to go in, and she's kind of not so into putting somebody like aggressively in. She's like, I want to put somebody who I'm cool with in, which is kind of different from what we saw before. But she's like, yeah, I'm not here at this point in the game to turn my back on somebody.
Again, another part where on Twitter where I wrote, her nonverbal is great. He's talking to her, and Esther has already said, number 3 in a class of 6,000. I have my law degree.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
she's
very
so
smart. And he's talking to her, and he's talking down to her, and her nonverbal, they're closer than you and I are right now. And her nonverbal is arms crossed.
I didn't even
and
notice
she's looking
that.
over. And I put on Twitter, I'm like, her nonverbal is awesome. Because she's listening to him like, don't care. Don't care
Oh
what
my
you're
God,
saying.
so that's closed off and
Yeah.
looking away.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's like,
Because he said she was fine with Huey, but she did not like the Bettina. She's like, I need to figure out, because she goes, after you, we may be there. You may get a new partner. I'm not safe. I need to make sure I'm
Right.
there. She's thinking
She's
3,
not-
4,
yeah.
5 steps ahead, and good for her.
exactly as you should. That's
Yeah.
that's impressive. So then it's the next day, and Kyle and Devin make up. And this is something that I noticed as nonverbals. Mm-hmm. So they're having this conversation. You know, they realize they need to kind of like get together. You know, you're my best friend. Devin's trying to, you know, figure out, you know, why he made that decision to do what he did in the challenge. And as Kyle is apologizing to Devin, he's looking away. He's not really engaged. Yeah, that sounds good. And then when they're hugging, he's looking down and away. And I'm like, that's not really that genuine.
Here's your what would Bananas do moment.
Oh, yes. You know I love a what would Bananas
They
do
both
moment.
worked with Johnny Bananas.
Of course.
Or against him, or whatever else. But you learn. Either you worked with him, you worked against him, you learn from him, okay? That whole thing where Kyle goes, I need to talk to him and clear. Oh, Devin.
I think Devin
says, I need to clear the air. Kyle says, I need to clear the air. But
this is hard for me because they talked so many times tonight.
It's during the nightclub thing, but he's like, I need to clear the air. But it's actually the next day.
Right.
Bananas would have never done that. Bananas would have had a cocktail in hand. He would have talked to him, approached him, said, we need to talk. And it would have been very, very blunt and everything else, but it would have been a lot of I love you, but it would have been a lot of bros. A lot of
he loves the bros.
You effed up today, but bro, keep your head straight. Bro, you effed up. And until the guy finally goes, yeah, I did. He would break him down slowly, like, here's how the game works. We all agreed to it. And either time you go, like, I got confused, be like, I don't need you. You got confused. I don't need it anymore. I don't want to hear you get confused. From here on out, don't get confused. Instead of doing what Devin was saying, like, if we're in a final together or running this, is he going to get confused? Bananas would have said, don't do it again. You have your one time, and it would have been, bro, we're good. He would have taken care of it that night to make sure everybody is watching. The rookies, the alliance,
That's a
everybody.
Good point.
He would have said, look, instead of they're on opposite sides of the rooms, and they make it seem like, and the rookies are sitting there confessional, like, oh, the alliance is cracking. Look at this, can't wait. Bananas would have made sure everybody knew that they were together.
You're right. It's very calculated.
And that would have been,
I like that.
I expected Devin to do it. Kyle saying, he said, like, I need to take care of this, but it wasn't until the next day. Bananas wouldn't have let it take the next day. He wouldn't have allowed people to think about that overnight and let the hangover happen of them still talking about it. He would have been right there. Bro, dumb move. You know Bananas. And he would have pointed out, that person's talking about, that person's talking about. They all think right now.
Well, and almost like, would you agree, like, putting him in his place? Like, I feel like Devin was kind of, like, when you put it this way in regards to what would Bananas do, Devin was kind of easy on him.
Oh, yeah. But he was talking about him in kitchen to Fessy or whatever else, and Josh and everybody else. Like, if that's your guy, that's your guy.
It's a little messy.
Exactly. I love it. That's what I'm saying. Like, Bananas just been like, bro, and he just would have been like, get back on the same page. Like, you know, make sure we are running the marathon together, not one's ahead, and then we have to catch up one or the other. And that is my what would your Bananas do moment. Seriously.
I think you're absolutely
very
right.
clear to me.
It's interesting that all the Bananas moments seem to be Devin moments.
Because I think
he's kind of filling that void a little bit.
I really believe it as of last year, and in episode 0, going back, and you can listen to our podcast and go back to the other ones where I said, like, I don't think I was a Devin fan, but it's always so much like, you go against Bananas, you go against me type of thing. But then when I see him evolve into this challenger, keep your social game the way it is and do
Absolutely.
it. And he really lost me this episode.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting for me because I've quasi liked Devin from day one. I'm more on Team West than Bananas. I know I haven't said that before. Yeah. But it's interesting that he kind of has those traits of both Wes and Bananas. So he's kind of trying to test the waters in between the both of them and like figure out his way in this game.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe he just doesn't feel like his voice is very that strong unless he has to be in front of people with the Hunter Heineken's and then get someone really excited.
Is that his beer of choice?
I think he said that before or whatever else. But I think it's just more like...
Look who's a big fan of Devin and he knows the beer he drinks.
I read a few things before this season. But I think it's more like when he knows he has a crowd than he does it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He shines up for a crowd. That's for sure.
That might be it, yeah.
So we have this deliberation then. And Michelle and Corey know they're like probably going to go up. But Michelle gives this really nice speech and she's like, look, like I realize it. Let's consider who we're going to go against, maybe consider someone else going in. We've been in 2-3 times by now. Maybe somebody else needs to, like earn your stripes. Some people have had a cushy ride thus far. Somehow Huey gets mentioned, and that gets a little messy.
Yeah, he gets really upset because Corey's saying like, well, Michelle's like, people need to earn the stripes and been in. We're rookies. But again, last episode, they got thrown in by a rookie who said, well, that's just, or they got nominated by a rookie. I think it was,
because it was such a good episode.
Yeah, but she said it, and she goes, well, that's what everyone else has been doing. And Corey was like, what do you mean that's what everyone's doing? Tasha said, thank you, sorry, I apologize. And he's like, what do you mean that's what everyone's doing? And now this episode, they're like, well, we're seeing a pattern. And she clearly, one of the rookies was like, that's just what everyone's doing, so we're going to follow it. Have you not watched the show? Have you not seen how it works? And I know Michelle says, like, we have to earn our stripes. I like that
there's an effort here. There's an effort here made, for sure.
Yeah, they say we know we're going in. But then she's like, but I want to let people know that there's some people that haven't won it. Mm-hmm. And then does anyone want to stand up and say something that is basically they're talking about? So
and Huey's kind of like starts out, he's like, no. Yeah. He's like, I really don't want to. And then Corey says something to him in regards to, how he's had an easy track, Huey has, and Corey has not. Huey's upset because they're the two gay guys on the show where they're supposed to be out, helping each other out.
No, they said we're the gay boys, is what he said. Which was, I was like, I didn't know they had an alliance or whatever else.
I didn't either, but I was like, oh yeah, they should absolutely probably be rooting for each other. And then Huey makes a huge rookie mistake when Corey's kind of like pressuring him, saying, okay, so if not you, or he said he didn't vote for them last time.
Yes, he said, I did not vote for you.
And he kind of pushes him for who did you vote for? And he says that he voted for himself and Ashley.
Yes, which I don't believe.
You don't?
No, I don't believe he knows what a burn vote means.
Oh,
so
no.
Cut to Ashley.
Vote for somebody else, not yourself. Jeez.
Yeah. Ashley said, I've seen a burn vote cut somebody in the end.
Hurt somebody, yeah.
I don't think he knows what a burn vote is. He was just like, I just don't want to do it. And I think that was going to be his thing in the back pocket to later to save his rear end, to be like, I could have voted for you, but this challenge or this deliberation, I didn't.
And this, I had not noticed really until tonight. I had thought that votes were team-based. So if you and me were a team, that we had to vote another team in. I did not realize that each person gets a vote. That was news to me. Like I knew they had like the tablets in front of them, but I just kind of, I don't know. For some reason, I thought it was a team decision prior to him saying that he voted him and his partner in.
You mentioned that as we watched this tonight. And I think that was a huge flaw because they stand in deliberation and there's people, they're sitting and someone's behind you. What doesn't stop any snake, and I say that with air quotes for people listening.
All the snakes.
Watching everyone that's voting, you can at least see 4, right? And then going, well, I know how they voted. And then turn around and going back to the house. Telling everybody. So I just don't get it. Like there's just...
I would be like, if this was
of course you
tablet,
would. Yeah. But they were just like, boop, 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 boop. And I would watch everybody's and be like, oh no, I know how they all voted. Yeah.
Cool. I got that one too. All right. Awesome.
So it's the first time we've actually seen it. So I understand why you thought it was like teams that were voting together, but there's just no way I would be dumb enough to just be like, oh, voting. How are you doing? I would be watching everybody in front of me.
Right.
And then on top of it, if I was in the front row, like not in the front row, pass. Does anyone want to trade? I want back.
Right.
I want back.
For sure. Yeah. That would be my decision. Absolutely. Yeah. Is that a height decision?
I don't know.
So we would be screwed if it was height decision.
Trust me, I've been in enough like Christmas sing songs or whatever else, knowing we're batting leadoff only or getting number 1 in Little League.
Gotta be at least like 5'10". Yeah. We're screwed. So Unfortunately, after everything that went down, it still was Michelle and Corey.
Yeah.
You know, I
They
did
knew
think
it.
I did think it was a valiant effort by them in the deliberation. I did think that they gave a good effort for sure. So then we go into the lair, and it's Coriel and Michelle, and things get messy again. So the agency, which is Esther and Fessy,
Fester.
or Fester, they say Huey. Okay, that was alluded to. And then Fessy is getting ready to say Amber.
He starts giving a dumb speech. Sorry, Fessy fans or whatever else. But it really is like, in this game, yeah. I feel like even TJ was rolling his eyes, but yes.
And
Josh
does not respond well to that. Josh is very upset. Amber's upset too. I mean, it gets heated to the point where Josh is like yelling, trying to get over towards Fessy, who's quite a ways away from him. I think challengers get in the way to like stop him, and then I think security gets in the way as well. TJ had the moment of the night where he just was like, and he just got on his phone.
This reaction by Josh is the most ridiculous thing ever. And TJ's reaction is the most greatest thing that's ever happened.
It is.
In
He's
Lair or Inferno, whatever else. He's like, all right, take out my phone. Whatever.
Because it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
He's like, I gotta, let's work on my correspondence now. Let's see how my aunt is doing. You know. So Amber says he's a snake in regards to Fessy. It goes on for a while, but then it ends up that Amber too long. I enjoyed it though, but so yeah, Amber's going in with Huey against Coriel and Michelle. So that's looking a little rough. This layer is called Down to the Wire. So they're handcuffed, and they have to go through this. It kind of looks like a jungle gym from when you're a child, but it's.
You got to up
and down and around, and there's so many things, and your handcuffs. You've got to really kind of
and
finagle
obviously
your bodies.
there's things in between that you have to go up just a little bit. It's not just like you would think. Yeah, so
and
little pegs that'll upset things.
Then you get a key, and then you work your way back and unlock it, and then first team to finish it wins.
Yep.
So walk us through it, Jaybird.
Well, good job on the challenge. How often do you have that type of drama that you go to commercial and two people are sitting there watching, challenge fans like you and I, and we start acting like we're doing it?
We did.
All right, so what happens really is Amber and Huey get through it, and they're killing it like nobody's business. And they get the key. And they're on their way back, and Corey and Michelle are stuck, and Michelle's like, his carabiner stuck. His carabiner stuck. And we've seen this happen
Yelling
before.
very aggressively.
Production,
that
and
it's stuck.
usually things stop. And then Huey yells back, all right, mine did too. And Amber's like, yeah,
get
I did
over
too.
it.
And then Huey just keeps hammering.
Oh my
You're
God,
not,
it was
you're
so
mad because
aggressive.
you have fewer friends than me. And Corey's like, oh, they're just going back
It
and
does
forth.
not
It's too
stop.
much. You have CT who goes through, and he's like, man, this guy has attention span like a 2-year-old, and he needs to get focused, and all he wants to do is yell at him. And they're going, and it looks like this is going to be just a blowout. Right?
For sure.
And we're not even in a commercial yet, and I'm still overselling this. And I said he just dropped something, because we've seen things where we've seen things where Laurel has hit something.
Ninja Natalie and Laurel.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Or Johnny Bananas,
that was so
one little
bad when
thing.
she did
yeah. And I said, he just dropped something. And then it's close to commercial, and they say, someone on the stage said he dropped his keys. And you said,
That's what you need.
Yeah. So then they go to commercial, and then that's when we start.
And I didn't realize it. And I'm like, wait, what happened?
But you're like, how? Just go grab it. I'm like, they're handcuffed. So we are actually standing up with our legs, like, but you have to do this. And I'm sorry for people listening that don't get to watch this, but we're like, no, you're gonna need to kick it over. And I was like,
You got to take
unless
your
it's,
shoe
you
off.
take your shoe off, unless it's Velcro. How hard can that be? And like pick it up with this and that, and we're just like going through the whole thing. And I'm like, but
You could reach it with your toes,
yeah, I was like,
maybe.
and you said, Sarah, you're like, but what? I'm like, but what if it's only this high? And like, look where my hands are. And we weren't in the layer. And then
We felt like it though,
and like they just have to.
And we were rooting for them so hard.
And like they're screwed. They're just gonna have to watch them just walk through this because he did this. So we come back and they just go right into like, I was just gonna kick it right at him. Like
it was like no big deal.
Yeah, like,
it was like, but. Well,
So-
he did like a very first baseman long stretch, grab. And
I guess it wasn't as high as I thought it was, but Huey somehow they made it back with his left leg, kicked it over to them, which is insane, and they got it, and then they go through the entire down to the wire thing, unlock it, and
they win.
there's drama.
And then there's still drama.
Yeah.
Yes, then they're still yelling at each other. I don't know what they said to each other. It doesn't matter what they said to each other. They were both aggravated, and still very intense. But it later ended that they were hugging each other and like all was good between Huey and Coriel.
TJ said
Oh, he did.
he gave them a talking to.
Daddy speech. He did.
Sure did, yeah. He said, there's a right way to win and a wrong way to win. Guys,
Or ladies, you did it right.
Ladies, you did it right. Guys, you did not do it right. That is not the way we do things around there. Huey, the way you talk, blah, blah, blah. Corey, well, we don't allow putting hands on another person. They're like, okay.
And then
Corey
he's like, well, with that being said,
absolutely.
to Coriel and Michelle, really hope we see you again.
Said you two are absolute beasts. Absolute beasts. We really
they
hope to
are
see you again.
beasts. They
Yeah,
are
but Corey
beasts.
really was like, this was what I'm here for. And it was like, there was a lot of tears or whatever else. But, it's, I get it. But it's also like, they threw a lot of jabs at each other. It's got, I guess I want to say, like, I understand because they want, they both are representing
Their
the gay
communities,
community.
for sure.
But those are emotions, and it's okay to be that way at that time. But it's okay also to say when I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. You don't have to be over and be like, I should have never done it to Huey. Be like, I was overcome with emotion. I wanted to be in there. I knew I was going in. I'm upset with my situation in the house.
Right.
I knew I was taking out another rookie if I beat
Absolutely.
him. It's okay to be that way instead of just like tears and be like, I'm so wrong for doing it. No, you're not.
They both had such heightened emotions because you have Coriel that has been a wonderful person. Like, there's no absolute reason why he was put in other than he was a rookie. And then once he was put in once, they continued to put him in.
Yeah.
That's a really tough spot to be in. I can't imagine being that person in the house. Okay.
Again, have you seen the show?
I know, but like, okay,
That's the spot you're going
that's not
into.
your goal. Like when you're a rookie, you're like, I want to be like the low key, like just chilling. You don't want to be like the one.
Priscilla?
Right. Right.
One confessional an
you're
episode?
just kind of
Yeah.
like rolling the dice. Like, I hope I'm not that one that gets put in all the time. Unfortunately for Corey, that was, and that sucks because I do think that he's a good competitor. I do hope to see him back.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then we have
Corey.
Huey.
Corey's coming back. Michelle's coming back.
Oh, for
both
sure.
of them.
They're both really
They're
good.
both great on the one-on-ones. They're both great in competitions. They both have great social games. Corey's coming back. Michelle's coming back. It is an absolute no-brainer that they will be there
Yes.
in multiple seasons.
And they're very well liked. Like, if you look at social media, they
Mm.
are very well liked. They're and I'm looking forward to seeing them again. For sure.
100%. I think they brought a lot to the show. I think Michelle, she had her thing with Emmanuel, which is great. You always got to have those hookups, but she's a great competitor. I think she made good relationships with
Yes.
veterans, so that next
There's
time,
a reason why people didn't put her first.
yeah, next
like
time
why
through,
Josh didn't do her.
she will never be like picked apart or anything like that. And I think Coriel, I think he had a great social game with everybody in the house. He has proved himself. Sometimes you get caught in these things or whatever, and he knew it, and he'll know the game better next time.
Dare I say that Michelle is similar to Laurel? And I mean that in a good way, being like a
Absolutely. I
very
understand your
strong
point.
competitor.
Yes, that's
Doesn't put a lot of emotion into the game. She's just
I would say she is Laurel and Jace. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
all right, let's do our categories.
Okay.
Also, next week, that preview looks like things are heating up. We're gonna see our
That's what
fireworks.
they
Finally,
needed to do. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Do. All right, who do you think won the episode?
Well, I got a couple nominees. How's that?
Okay. I don't have one in my head.
I think early in the show, Esther is up there as a nominee. Unfortunately, Huey's a nominee too. Amber's a nominee.
Yes.
Out of those nominees, though, I think it's Esther. To be honest with you, even though she came so strong at the beginning, there's not much more that she did, but to unleash of the lawyer, the top number 3 at 6,000, this and that. I think she did.
How incredible, right?
And she kind of like put her way through. Like, I'm only going to nominate who I'm going to nominate because Fessy made his own deal with Corey. And it was Bettina, and she was like, "I'm not doing your deal."
Right.
And he's like, "But there." And we watch it again. He says like, "I'm gonna remember this." And when he's talking to her, he's like, "I need people that are gonna look out for me in the end." And she's like, "What?"
Sounds
he's
good.
like, "If I make this deal, yeah." So, I think Esther won this episode.
That's a good point. I really don't have one. I mean, it was weird because this episode, unlike last episode, there weren't very many characters. This episode had so many characters within it that, I mean, I could say my homeboy Huey, because he did win the elimination.
I think Huey's up there. That's why I nominated him. Yeah.
I don't love his arguing in the elimination enough to like really hero him.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's almost by process by elimination. Like, you want to give it to
so really
Devin,
Amber,
Josh, or
really
Amber.
Amber.
Can I tell you who didn't win this episode and why?
Is it Fessy?
Well, Fessy doesn't win the episode, but I'll put him. I also will say I don't think Corey won the episode. I don't think Nelson won the episode. And I don't think Josh won the episode.
Nope.
And here's why I'm going to tell you. What really bothered me about there's one time they're all outside talking after the whole snake thing with Kyle.
And Devin's right there.
Devin's walking by. Again, now that's why Devin doesn't win the episode. When he walks by, he goes, "Who are you talking about?" But when Corey and Nelson and Josh are there, and he's like, "Well, man, he turned on one of his good friends, and guess what's going to happen in the end? Do whatever." And I was like, "Are you guys describing Fessy? Are you describing Fessy?" And now you're trying to make this whole thing and be like, "Oh, this man, guess what he's going to do at the end?" And you guys make good about this?
Right.
So they don't win the episode either.
No.
There really isn't a strong female standout outside of Esther. And
is that the idiot brigade, as Devin called them last season? Those three?
I watch these episodes, I get through them, and gosh, I wish they were called the idiot. Those are the guys, the idiot brigade, because it really does line up perfectly. That
I mean, I feel like they've gotten smarter, but in that moment, kind of made me think
they
back.
just are. They could also be called the yeah bros, because one brings up a point and they're just like, yeah, bro, definitely yeah, bro.
Amber got the best at it.
Yes. Oh, that's a 100%. That's great. And Amber, can we say her stock is rising because she came in late in the game? So she would be the stock right.
She's got everything going. She won an elimination. She
Huey,
did okay in a competition. She's got a little romance with Jeremiah. And how cute is that? The two cute Southern people all cute with each other.
Yeah,
I kind of like that.
I think that would be the winner for whose stock is rising would be Amber B, because I don't think anybody else did anything to
Didn't see Tori.
endear themselves to the fans. Is a thing.
Didn't see Ed.
There are some things also that I will, if I say some things about Josh or anything else, we do have to look at it, and when at the end of the show we go, oh my God, because there is some things that they think about. And when they're at the end, when they have to pick partners and they break up.
I didn't even do that. I apologize.
But there's no need to apologize. This is where it actually gets interesting to go into the next episode. That's why. And they get done, and obviously it's going to be that Amber B has to pick someone. He was going to pick someone, and we don't know what they're going to do.
No clue. I was sitting there, and you were next to me. I was chanting for Amber B to pick CT. I wanted it so bad. She picks Devin. Most eligible bachelor. My goodness.
Huey goes first, and he picks
Nani.
So Gabo's there, and
So-
then right away they start thinking and they start pointing. They're like, Lloyd and Dumb and Dumber, like this guy. They all start pointing.
They were because they
Pick
wanted
Devin.
a rookie team to be.
That is such great thinking on the spot.
Yeah.
Really, as much as like
But
you
you
can
know
sit
what?
there
That
be like,
made me
they
sad
conspire.
that
Gabo and Emmy.
because yes. So I have these
Collateral
two
damage.
I have these two rookie guys that have fun energy that I enjoy, and. By the way, Nani said that Gabo has not disappointed her once. He's been doing a really good job. I don't know why I'm aggressively pointing at you.
I have no idea, but
And-
would you? How about this? Would you like it if I just patted you on the head like that, like he did to Nani?
That was
Yeah. So yeah, you wouldn't like. So you can aggressively point at me, and then I just do that. You would not like that. So.
But so I was a little upset. I was like, Huey, why are you picking Nani? Like, come on, like pick Tori. Like that's the most obvious decision.
She knows
or
the game,
Anissa.
strong social. He was right.
You know.
He's slowly starting to
so-
pick up the game.
So now we got Gabo with Emmy.
They're out next week. Doesn't matter what they do, they better win. They're not
Well,
winning.
that's not gonna happen.
They're not winning. And listen, I think it's great everything that
That's not gonna
Huey's
happen,
doing,
yeah.
everything else, and I know it's awesome that he's as a gay man, it's hard to adopt a baby. Everything else, Huey, you're not winning $1 million either, and Gabo and Emmy, you're not winning next week either. So, but I think it was amazing that they figured out that way that quick. And when
They actually told us some backstory this week. That was nice. Like that about Huey.
Yeah.
We didn't
Yeah,
last
they're
week.
just
They
trying to do
didn't talk about any of their backstories.
But that fast thinking makes me think of something you told me earlier. The fast thinking of like, no, pick them, whatever else. I don't think we realize how the week works and how fast it is. And something you told me earlier.
Yes. So I'm a super banana stan like you.
You
And
are not,
that's
but
heavy,
you're lying
that's
to the
heavy
listeners.
sarcasm.
Yeah.
It's heavy sarcasm. Again, I don't dislike him. I don't have the thing that everybody else does. But I did listen to his podcast. It's on it's Ringer podcast. It's on Spotify. He was on a couple weeks ago. He kind of outlined what the week looks like when you're on the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that I thought was really interesting because us as just fans, we don't know how it works. Like we can speculate all we want, but we don't really know how it works.
Yeah.
So they said he said the process is 8 weeks. So the whole like beginning to end is 8 weeks. So we're talking 19 episodes, 8 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And here's how he outlined it. And granted, maybe the season's different, but this is kind of what he said with the last season he was on. So he said Sunday is interview day. Monday is challenge and nominations. Every once in a while, nominations end up like on Tuesday morning. So then Tuesday you have elimination. Wednesday is your interview day, and it's kind of like an off day. Thursday is another challenge. Friday is elimination. And then Sunday's like an actual off day. So in a week, your challenges are on Mondays and Thursdays. Your eliminations are on Tuesdays and Fridays. So that's just interesting to think about, like the amount of things that happen in 7 days. So we're talking 2 episodes in 7 days.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like zooming by.
So, and that's why I think it's important to point out that they that much forward thinking to be like, pick them. Like, now, they may not have shown that for production value to be like, oh, they don't want this big line. But we all know it. It's not like this thing of like, well, the Veterans Alliance. I mean, every season they pick off the rookies. It's
from the beginning.
Yeah. So,
Remember when they used to call it cutting the fat?
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that? I'm glad they don't do that anymore.
but I just think it's important. Like, I was really surprised, like, how quick they were to just be like, no, this is the person. And they're like, oh, yeah, they're pointing. And Amber B to be like, yeah, I'm following the veterans. She could have easily been like, no, these guys that I don't like.
Right.
And she used Devin's F Big Brother. She could have been like, I'd do whatever. But she following suit. And like you said,
she won with CT.
Yeah.
So, like, why
would
come
think.
over and, like, cozy up to him
Yeah.
and be like, dude, what are you doing?
but even CT was doing this and everyone else. So good for everyone being on board. And might have been cut off production floor. But I thought it was a great way to end it. And like we said, 3. We called it episode. This one, a lot in
Episode
an hour and 30.
A.
Yeah, absolutely, a lot in an hour and 30 minutes. A lot in 90 minutes. And oddly enough, a lot in, if I say 90 minutes, maybe 9 challengers there, because there was a lot that wasn't
Oh my
even.
gosh, there was so much.
But there's a lot of people that didn't get any time on there. I mean, Amber's only thing was being loud or whatever else that time. So I think this is a build-up, and I think we're going to come out next week stronger as the episode and stronger talking about it. And I don't know if we can get it much stronger about the energy we bring, but hey, we just have to follow the lead of what we get every Wednesday night on the challenge.
Absolutely. You think our fight's really going to happen next week?
Yes.
I think it's going to happen next week. I keep saying it, but I'm really getting the vibes it's going to happen next week.
100%. Because that whole dumb thing about we are best friends, I've never thought of Josh and Fessy as best friends.
No.
So, like, that is
kind of.
No, that one-on-one is like, what do you think of your best friend? Like, yeah, we were best friends. That's leading to something.
I think Josh believes they're best friends.
Josh believes a couch is his best friend.
Right.
All right? It doesn't
I don't
matter.
think that
Like, the light switch turns on, and he's like, I just hit the switch, and the light turned on. We're friends. And then if it doesn't work out for some reason, because the light bulb doesn't work and needs to be replaced, he starts crying because, like, what happened to my best friend? Replace the light bulb. It's not your best friend. So
it's so sad. Like
that it's true.
It's true, but like it kind of like makes me want to be friends with him. I'm like, aw.
It's the way it is.
I love like the wounded bird, you know.
But if the bird keeps flying into the window and gets wounded, aren't you finally like, hey, dumb bird,
already.
I'm tired. I got other things to do besides, helping you with your wing. Like, I don't have that for Josh at all. Like, he is a goofball.
Yeah, but he's good TV. He's not going to win. Love him for the entertainment. He's most likely not going to win. I love that most likely him and Fessy are going to get in a fight. I'm here for it. Let's go.
Can we dog ear something for next week?
All right, I'll get out my pen.
Which one of these challengers would you most like to be your kid's first grade teacher?
Oh.
Because I was just thinking about, like, you're like, oh, I like him, whatever else. Would you want Josh to be your your kid's first grade teacher? That's all. Let's go through next week and be like, and tell why or no. We'll do a good 5 minutes, yes or no, why, or whatever else. Because you say these things.
I'm like,
there's no way I would want Josh to be my kid's first grade teacher. Like, he'd be a spaz about anything. Like, Uncrustable? Oh my God, it's not even on the safe lunch list. Like, calm down, Josh. No one's doing it against you. All right? It wasn't about you. I didn't read the safe lunch list. I'm sorry. Like, I don't.
You think he'd get he'd get enough tissy over an Uncrustable?
I think I just told you he would be upset if the light switch didn't work, so I'm pretty sure he would. I don't, but
okay.
Next week, I think this is great.
Let's think about it for a week.
Yeah,
let's think about it for a week.
Which one of these would you want to be your kid's first grade teacher? Which one do you want? I think
I think Ashley for sure.
No! Oh my goodness, no!
I'm kidding. I'm so kidding.
I know you are, but you'll just get me all fired up and thinking about it now. So
I know I can see a vein. All right, so I think that's it for tonight. Follow us on Instagram, Final Alliance, Twitter, Final Alliance 1, YouTube, Final Alliance Podcast, and then Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, it's Final Alliance Podcast.
Go back on Twitter and Klinger, the producer's done a great job. Tosh has been on there, Kels, and then also thanks to Skylark for letting us do this.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. All right. Next week.
Have a good one.